In most cases, we discuss big league, we talk about StarTimes Uganda Premier League. If continental stories are there, continental stories, we are talking about like World Cup qualifiers, you talk about CAF Champions League, CAF Confederations Cup. If they are there, we don't leave them out, we always bring them for you. And we always finalize everything with what is happening, more especially in Europe, though in international sports, but much of what we discuss in international sports is coming from Europe. And as usual, I am not alone in the studio. I am together with Susie, with whom we are going to break the contents. We will drive the first stanza of the show before we go for a break, and very soon we will also be driving you with what is happening in the second stanza of the show, more especially what is happening in Europe. Susie, you are most welcome and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Benson, and good afternoon, viewer, wherever you're catching us from the different channels, all the different platforms you're watching us from. It could be Zuko, it could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, wherever it is that you're catching us up from, I should say. Thank you so much for always following our West Nile TV. Whistle Time Crew is in the house. 2 to 3, Susie and Benson are already here to, of course, tackle anything. There is a sports from locals. Of course, we go to national stories, and then we get to close the hour with international scenes towards the closing minutes as we get to clock to there is 3 p.m. and in a special way, I would like to appreciate the whole entire team that is working hard to see to it that this production gets to you wherever you are catching us from.
Yeah, so the off script and there's highlights. This time Marata Defwe, they want to be the first Defwe to start 4th Division League. As we discuss right now, the fixtures are already out. And also in the country of Uganda and taking the continent at large, we are having so many sporting activities. And yesterday we talked about the Cricket World Cup qualifiers that will be taking place next year. In fact, the real tournament, the World Cup T20 will be taking place next year, and the qualifiers, they are right now going on. And after that one for the cricket players, and we'll also be seeing our ladies, they call themselves as the Victoria Pearls, and they'll also be taking part in the qualifiers, and theirs will be in December. We'll be talking about that one. And yesterday, I think Arue Hill Sports Club this time this will be missing the services of Isaac Ogweng. He inspired the team of Police into the winning ways, and indeed they lost narrowly into the hands of Mbale Heroes. And these games, they will continue match day 8 and match day 9. And StarTimes Uganda Premier League is also bouncing back after the international break. And the biggest story coming international is all about Bansil, this time being thrown out of FA. What you do is just stay next to your screen as we break for you the contents, plus those ones we have not given the highlights. What you only do is just be where you are, and the channel, of course, will have to be that one on West Nile TV. And the other side, Susie has already told you, you get locked to that one as we break the contents. But let's start it with we'll leave aside the DFA of Marata, this time kickstarting with the 4th Division League early. We'll keep that one, and let's kickstart with what is happening in the second tier of Ugandan football. That's FUFA Big League. Yesterday we talked length about this game, Blacks Power up against Police, and it was towards the closing edges of the game. The other goal was scored in the extra minute, as we saw Cops Police still continuing with their final run of the season, this time extending the points gap to 5 with the team that is set in second, and it was the top of the table class. And I know it happened the way how we predicted. Matthias, the team of Blacks Power, gave hard times to Police.
Blacks Power outplayed Police. There is one big thing that actually I got to watch within the game. And secondly, Police coming in to win that game towards the dying minutes, the closing minutes of the game, was very frustrating, by the way. Blacks Power literally had settled in for a draw, if you watched that game very well, because they outplayed there is a Police from minute 1 up to there is the very last minutes. And towards the dying minutes, like you said, we saw Police coming in with a goal there, meaning they won that very game. And if it didn't go into the extra minutes, trust me, that game was going to end on a draw basis, exactly how we predicted yesterday. We told you yesterday, viewer, that this game was going to be a very hard one. And I think we both anticipated a draw in this very game. Me and Benson, we anticipated a draw in this very game. And the draw almost came, by the way. The draw came, but towards the dying minutes, that's when we saw Police actually taking in all the bragging rights and scooping the 3 points. It was a very good one for them. They keep, of course, expanding their point gap. They keep slipping away, by the way, into an automatic promotion. They now have 22 points, but they sit at position number 1. At number 2 is, of course, the same team that they beat yesterday, which now has accumulated 17 points to their names, and they sit at position number 2 on the table.
Yeah, Blacks Power now, they have a 5 points gap between themselves and Police, just exactly like how you have said. And that one, you know, Isaac Ogwang, a former player for Arua Hill Sports Club, that's why at some point I said, we never know. This time, once you do something good, of course the flashback will always come on the table. So we said that it's the right time for the team of Arua Hill Sports Club starting to miss his services. He was a brilliant player for the club before leaving the Congolese, but now he scored the other goal in the 80+ minutes before firing the other one in the extra time. Extra time added minutes were always a savior to either both clubs as to one club. Firing a brace, I think, will always make his name to sound, I think.
Scoring a brace and of course collecting all the bragging rights, this is something very big. We equally also saw this. It's not only well that the Congolo people are getting to miss his services. They lost in a lot of good players. Look at Toa Rashid, who of course represented Sudan and played against Sadio Mane, who said certain dreams of this kind would come true, but football is pushing guys to heights. And then also talking about Maduka, who now plays for, I think, Blacks Power. Initially, when the transfer windows were open, we saw there are a lot of clubs that wanted the services of Maduka. He equally one time wanted to cross to Duparoka, but it was delayed. And then Maroons had, of course, engaged him in talks to see to it that they added him onto their teams, and it failed. He eventually settled in his hometown, that is Lira, and is a player over Blacks Power. Recently, we saw him equally also rescue that is Black Power before they played the Police yesterday and lost. We saw Maduka coming in with an early goal, and it ended like that. So I think they are literally missing in the services of a lot of their proven and good players. There is a team, Arua Hill, that actually stands to play a game tomorrow. But then if you look at Police, I would say Benson Police is one side that actually was the most active when the transfer windows were open. Police was one side that was very active, and they didn't go for, I would say they didn't go for every other player. They went in for proven players that actually can manage big league. But you actually see big league is one of the toughest leagues in Uganda, I would say. No doubt, because one, you're in big league, everyone is fighting to cross to the biggest style of football in Uganda. There is a Stadiums Uganda Premier League. So every other club that is in big league wants to play out their heart, and for the fact that that transfer window gets to be open, every other club wants to go in for players that will literally manage big league. So we just saw that with the Police when they were doing signings, and the signings they did, by the way, are performing. We've seen this very evidently yesterday with the brace that came through, and they won in the first goal, and another coming through as a winning goal in the extra added minutes to see to it that Police get to scrub off all the bragging rights and carry all the 3 points into the bag. I think Police this time around is in for an automatic promotion, like we've already said.
Police, not only in relation to what you have already said, they signed a couple of good players, and they even signed more than a whole squad. You know, in the pitch, it's supposed to be 11 up against 11 in case red cards, red cards are not there. But they went on to sign more than 11 players, and now they have opened 5 points gap between themselves and the team that is sitting second. So do we say that in relation to what happened last season, we saw the team of Airtel Chitara going on top, and it was very difficult for the other teams to see that they catch up with them, and for them they were already through, and the battle was left in the hands of the teams like NEC and the other team of Mbara City. So do we say this time for them they are through, as you will still be seeing something coming in the middle of the season, as at the end them dropping?
Police this time around, Police I will say is undoubtedly crossing over to there is a UPL Benson. We saw how Police missed last season. It was very narrowly. After we saw after Chitara, like you had said, had crossed over for an automatic promotion. We saw Mbarara also sneaked in their ways and crossed over. The playoff was left between now Police and NEC. But then in that playoff, I don't know what happened with Police, but the points are slipped off to there is NEC, and we saw Police remaining in the league, and NEC crossing over to there is a Startimes Uganda Premier League. And this time around, I think Police have not recovered from the trauma of seeing themselves. Actually, one of their legs was already in UPL, and then one was in Big League. But then a NEC dumped them and removed the other leg that was already in UPL and threw them out of UPL and sealed in their qualification dreams and closed it completely. So I think that traumatized Police, and they went down to sit in the due course of the break of last season before this season started. They sat down and strategized on what should we do. I think they did in a lot of meetings and tried to scrutinize in between the weaknesses that actually didn't make them push through to there is a UPL last season. And this time around they came in with one mission, and which basically is the mission of almost all the clubs that play in Big League. Everyone wants to push through to there is a Startimes Uganda Premier League, and the Police, I think, is living up to that dream.
Yeah, Susie, there is one thing I've been observing since I started following the Ugandan Premier League. I don't know if you have also been observing. There are some teams that have always been journey teams, like Isenene Ese. Today they are here, tomorrow you will see them leaving that place.
But for the past 3 days, Ese has been around.
Police is, you are turning a whistle time to be Ese time.
You're the one who switched the topic.
Now, Police is one of them. You will see them crossing to UPL. Next season, they are coming back always after 2 seasons. And another team has been Maroons, a journey team. But of late, they have settled. Another team is actually UPDF. In case this time they happens to cross to UPL, do you think they will settle there for a good number of seasons? Else, you will still see them after 1 or 2 seasons coming back to that Fufa Big League, as like the journey for Grasshopper.
I have told you, for you where you stay, if you're not seeing grasshoppers, for us in Awindiri, the capital city of Arua, for the past 3-4 days we have been living with Ises as our roommates.
Those ones that come there every day, they also coming from another place.
They are not coming, they've come to stay. They are now our roommates. Actually, at the end of the month, the Ises should also start paying rent with us, because now they are living together with us in the same room. Okay, I'm shifting aside from what you actually asked me. Police this time around, Benson, I think they have settled. Because if they hadn't settled, like you just said, I see Police are settled just like Maroons. If they hadn't settled, we wouldn't be seeing them winning in games. We would not be seeing Police opening the point gap between them and position number 2, there is in for Blacks Power. And if you look at position number 3, it's Mbale Heroes that has 16 points. So basically, I would say but Police missed narrowly crossing over to UPL that was last season, and I think that traumatized them so much. And this, like I had said, they scrutinized between their weaknesses. They sat in for a couple of meetings trying to see how best they can do, and here they are. No doubt they are doing so well. They are beating clubs for fun. They even go and beat you up to home. We saw this in the previous game they played before they beat Blacks Power yesterday. They beat Mbale Heroes home 4-0, and they are beating people with a very wide margin of goals, by the way, apart from yesterday's game where the one but literally I think Police this time around has come to stay. If they get to, not if they get to cross, I am seeing them already crossing over to UPL, and I think this time around when they go there, they now already know the hustle. 2 seasons in Big League, but it's something I think Police just didn't think of. It didn't cross their mind. They thought last season they would come, they were dropped the other season from UPL. They thought they would come to Big League and stay 1 season like the rest of the Chitaras, the rest of the Mbarara cities. They thought they would be there only for 1 season and cross back to the biggest style of football in Uganda, but no, it didn't happen. That dream was crushed. So I think they are still living in that trauma. That's why they are working very hard. The players are playing out their heart, and you are not hearing a lot of complaints financial-wise, management-wise. They are just doing okay. And I think this time around, when they get to cross over to UPL, trust me, Benson, they will go there to stay like Maroons.
Yeah, we are closing the chapter about the cops, that's the Police. You have already highlighted something about Mbale Heroes. Yesterday, they also had a game up against Ndeje University where they had a slim win. It was by 1-0 in favor of Mbale Heroes. Now the question is, I always like comparing things, relating things with what is happening in Europe, because the base of football comes in Europe, whereas from the other parts of the continent. Are we going to see Mbale copying the same thing which happened to RB Leipzig, because right from the third tier of German football, they have just been a journey team crossing to second Bundesliga, now to German Bundesliga. They are performing very well. Why am I relating them with RB Leipzig? Why am I relating RB Leipzig with the Bale Heroes? Now, right from the regional league, they're in FIFA Big League. They are not only participating, they are not fighting relegation, they are not fighting to finish in the middle of the table, but they have become like the real fighters, real competitors, to see that they also cross the other line to the UPL of Ugandan football. Are we going to see the same thing this time happen to Mbale Heroes, like what happened to RB Leipzig?
Mbale Heroes, by the way, but it's too early, Benson, I would say, for us to start ruling out Mbale Heroes. If you look at Mbale Heroes and their entire journey, you literally see that Mbale Heroes is one side that has been working very hard, I would say tooth and nail, to see to it that they cross to the biggest sell football in Uganda. There is sometimes Uganda Premier League. But then it has equally also not been an easy one for them. They have been choking, they have been suffocating somehow by some of the teams that have been playing against their opponents and all that. If you look at the journey of Mbale Heroes, they have always been champions of their regional league. I think 3, 4, 5 times, several times, Mbale Heroes has been champions of their regional league. And of course, you know how the journey starts to get to there is the biggest football in Uganda. But Mbale Heroes has actually had quite a very long journey. And this time around, where they are in a big league, this is the first time they are crossing this after I think 2 seasons. This is the first time they are crossing, and by the way, we shouldn't be surprised if Mbale Heroes will cross UPL next year, next season, I mean, because they're working hard, but they might not gain an automatic promotion, but they might go in for the playoffs. Unlike otherwise, they will be beaten like Police, and then we'll see one other side crossing over. But to me, I think Mbale Heroes, I will also include them in the contest of crossing over to UPL come next season. You
see, there is one thing I've loved about this particular team we have talked about, Mbale Heroes. They are not like the other teams that will go 2 to 3 games without picking even a draw or else a win. You will see them losing today, tomorrow they are winning, and the following fixture they are doing a game. Like they were accumulated by Police, they have already recollected themselves by picking a win yesterday. Next game, the worst for them might be a draw. You will see them bouncing back. That's how, of course, you will have to clear the path for you if you want to achieve something. So we have been discussing about the games that we have played yesterday. Equal, we are having games to be played tomorrow. On the park, of course, we'll be having a game Lugazi, and these games will continue till Monday. But something we have to discuss about the game between Onduparaka Football Club and Lugazi. Matches on Onduparaka, I've mentioned them first, but there will be the away team away to Lugazi. Lugazi is doing so well. They are one of the contenders to see that they get to UPL, and Onduparaka as well. We cannot rule them out because we have not even reached to the half of the season. We have only played, I think, quarter of the season, but this is a tense game between the two sides. On the Paraka, they had a win over Karo Karunzi. Lugazi also played a draw. I think it was over Chetume, but they are the home side. And a new coach that has only spent a week. The name of the coach is Makumbi. And on the Paraka, away to Lugazi. Are we going to see them continuing with the impressive win they had over Karo Karunzi? Whereas Lugazi, with their home ground, new tactician, everything they possess, we will see them disappointed on the Paraka. What are we expecting?
This is going to be a game between position number 4 and position number 7. Position number 4 has 15 points. There is Lugazi, and Onduparaka sits at position number 7 with 12 points. Meaning, if Onduparaka play out their heart tomorrow and win, from the 12 points that they have, they will be in the same line with Lugazi, 15-15. Meaning Onduparaka still has a lot of chances to actually better their position. And if you look at Lugazi and Onduparaka, they will both be playing their 9th game tomorrow. They are still on their 8th games, and this is going to be a very tight fixture for Onduparaka. I don't know if we'll be seeing the very first win that Onduparaka will pick for this season on away basis. They've never won an away game since the season started. They only give people hard time when they're playing home. There is at Greenlight Harbour Bets at their home ground. If you look at Onduparaka, Onduporoka, I don't know why, but I feel tomorrow Onduporoka might pick a win, a very slim win over there is a Lugazi, because literally Onduporoka, I think one of the biggest challenges has been fan base from all of the travels that they have been making. But this time around, Lugazi, I feel the Lubara community exists in Lugazi, and basically, if they were mobilized, even these guys of Arua Park, the Lubaras in Arua Park, if they were mobilized, trust me, these people can push through to Lugazi and support Onduporoka. And you know what the 12-man squad does, the fan base. It actually motivates the players and all that. You see people playing out their hand to win and give back the morale to the reserve fans. But literally, I am not ruling out Lugazi because they sit at a better position compared to Onduporoka in the reserve table standings, and the point gap is only 3. Meaning, if Onduporoka gives out to there is Lugazi tomorrow, we will see Lugazi crossing over to 18 points from 15, and then they'll push through to, by the way, better position from position number 5. We might see them at position number 3. And if you look at Onduporoka, if they win this game tomorrow, they might equally cross over to position number 4 or 5. Basically, looking at how the table is right now. So tomorrow, I am ruling out a draw. I don't know why I have this. I don't know why I have this instinct that is telling me Onduporoka is picking their first away win tomorrow. I don't know why, but I've been having that feeling for quite some time now. The whole of this week. I don't know if the boys will disappoint me or what, but this time around, being a West Nile team and me being a West Nile, I think I will be rallying behind there is Onduporoka to pick their very first away win in there is Lugazi. It will be a very slim one. I'm seeing a 2-1 for
I am
Onduporoka.
also praying that the Caterpillars pick the win such that it keeps on pushing them in a better position, and also a very huge encounter as Onduporoka will be battling Lugazi. Chetume at the same time will also be battling the team of Boma. Chetume is at number 4 with 14 points, and Boma is actually still at number 8 with 12 points. And I think tomorrow we will see alternation changes in the table standing, and in case Boma beats Chetume, they will go to 15 points, and if Chetume also wins, they will go to number 3. And also in relation to that, on Sunday, Mbale Heroes, of course, is playing the team of Calvary. Will it be of any advantage to the team of Calvary? Of course, the last 3 games, I think they have not picked a draw, no win for them. This is going to be the right time for them to come back. There is one advantage ahead of the encounter. Mbale Heroes played yesterday, and Calvary, they have been resting. Will it be the time for them to soak Mbale Heroes and come back and start floating on the water?
Calvary is at position number 11. They're almost slipping into the red zone. There is a relegation zone, which is very bad. Something we actually didn't expect. We expected Calvary now to already understand fully the big league. This is the 3rd season that they are in big league. Remember, the first season they played their home games at Greenlight Ababet Stadium. The second season they pushed to their home ground. Now there is Jumbe, Midigo, Calvary, where they host their games at Midigo Primary, and everyone expected them to actually push through. I remember vividly last season, if you look at a first round, Calvary finished first round at position number 3. Whatever it is that happened, somehow to see that they didn't finish up is up to them. And this time around, they have returned under a different governor. Remember last season, they're being coached by the assistant coach currently now over there is a neck, Didu Bosco. And this time around, Calvary is not at the right position. They have accumulated only 9 points after playing 8 games. They sit at position number 11, and Ginger North sits at position number 12 with 8 points, and also Chinda Boys sits at position number 3 with 8 points. What happens if Calvary loses and these two, Ginger North and Chinda Boys, win their games that they have at hand? Meaning they will proceed ahead of Calvary, and Calvary sinks into relegation zone, which is a very bad one for them. And this time around, Calvary really needed to take this opportunity of using fatigue, by the way, on Mbale Heroes that they will play. But trust me, I equally don't see Mbale Heroes giving out easily to there is Calvary, because based on Calvary recently, we've not been seeing them picking a win so easily, unless otherwise we saw them let's take a track from the time they went and played Ndeje. Ndeje, this is a Ndeje that has never won. They've been losing out just for like that. We expect Calvary to pick a win from there, but no, they did. They were beaten by Ndeje. That's the first win that actually Ndeje collected for the season, since the season started. And the second game that the Calvary even is beaten at home. Why won't they maintain their home records for being unbeaten, just like Oduparaka? Yeah, Oduparaka is losing out. We've equally seen Calvary are losing home, but at least for them, they've picked an away win, by the way. I think they've picked an away win, unlike Oduparaka. But so the whole thing, I don't know, if they could take an advantage of actually the fatigue bit of it. We saw these guys playing yesterday, which was Wednesday. They'll only have basically 2 days to rest. So Sunday is not far, and Calvary has been resting the entire period where these other guys have been playing. So basically, I would advise Calvary to use the fatigue bit of it to actually collect a win and leave out the red zone. Yeah, it really is not a good position for them.
Yeah, Susie, I think we need to drop the top 3 and the relegation zone before we leave the studio for the first half break. Top 3. We have just been singing this one. Police now on top with 22 seconds. Blacks Power with the 17. Third is Mbale Heroes with the 16. In the relegation zone, Jinja North United. You have got Chinda Boys, Young Elephant, not forgetting about Ndeje University. Off script, City Oilers, they are performing very well. 2 games already played in the ongoing Basketball African League. They have won all of them. In case they will continue to perform like this, remember at the end they will take the top 3 teams that will be representing the Basketball African League come next year, and currently they are doing so well. And we are off a break. We are coming back soon. We are coming to talk about the start times.